Welcome to another episode of ASA Podcast. Recently, we were in a gathering where many of the friends or the guests who I spoke to, or I think even Ashok spoke to, had one thing in common. You might have also heard the same from many people. I was surprised to hear the same, for after so many years. The context from them was specifically was, I'm struggling a lot to save money in Canada. And today we are going to talk more about, just in our conversation, what is making people to think that they cannot save money after coming to Canada. In my opinion, I felt like it's a general jargon for people to manage, or just to say, in general, this is what it is happening, to showcase by themselves that I'm not ready to save money. Because when someone say I couldn't save money, which means that, in my opinion, honestly speaking, it could be for various reasons. It could be something that is in reality, or the way of living what they already started after coming into Canada was way too high than what they have to had initially, and all the changes over a period of time. We say like the inflation or rate of interest on the mortgage, all these might be one of the area where they are feeling that they cannot save money.
In my opinion, it is not about just it is not something that's happening recently. It may be what people are expressing more nowadays, right? The thing is, it was the same from the very beginning. I do agree with the lifestyle changes what you just mentioned. That okay, there are certain things that we have to see, right? It is first thing is people are feeling that they are not saving money, or they are unable to save money. So unable to save money is a different thing, and not saving is different thing. Unable to save, the reason why I'm saying is people should decide what their needs are and what their wants are, right? If somebody, for example, if you mentioned that lifestyle changes, just in my case, after I landed in Canada, right, like long back, 10 years ago, 15 years ago maybe, the very first thing we did, we bought certain amount of cash. I do remember saying the same in Philip's podcast maybe, or Cindy's, I don't know. But the very first thing we did, we bought a lot of money from back home in those days, right? Not 15 years ago. The very first thing we did is we paid all the money, like advances for the rent and whatever, for the home rental and whatever, right? Rental property. After that, whatever the money is left, we started going, okay, just go out. We were living in Ottawa, so there's right beside the mall, Carlingwood Mall. Also, that's one of the biggest mall in Ottawa, right? So every day morning, 8:30 wake up. We just landed. We don't know what to do, so hold some fires, take some resume, in search of job. Go to the mall. There are lots of shops and whatever, right? The very first thing we do is get ready, take the resume, and go out. The purpose of us going out is to search a job. But as soon as we go to the shopping mall, as we start, because we need some kind of a job there, survival job, right? We go into the shop. As soon as we walk in up to the food court, we see lots of stalls, right? What will we do? Sit there, buy a coffee, take a breakfast, sit there, eat, and then start walking around the mall. And then as we start walking around the mall, we'll see, hey, shoe shop, hey, TV shop. For no reason, we bought a TV on the very second day of our arrival here. No, third day, I would say. For no reason, right? It is so. Basically the reason the point I'm coming to is, it is not, we do not have any need for us to buy. We need coats. Our uncle who is in Ottawa, he's they're local people here, right? Anyways, so they bought us. They know what we need when we landed here, so they kept everything ready. They know what kind of shoes we need. They bought the shoes. They kept the shoes ready. They kept the coat ready. Everything is ready. But other than that, instead of having those, we went again and bought new coats, winter coats, to look stylish. We bought another pair of shoe. We bought TV. We bought speakers, for the laptop because we felt like the sound from the TV is low, and we bought TV, sound bar or whatever the speakers, right? Additional speakers. What is the need? There's no need. It's just the mentality, right? It is a mistake that we did, but I do not feel ashamed to say that that's something that we did in the past. It's a lesson learned for us too, by the way, right? We bought so much money, and within 3 months, our bank's empty.
But not to deny the fact, the moment you get into a new place, there is a lot of excitement. It's obvious to get settled in the new place. There are certain needs that needs to be purchased, and there are impulsive buying too. That makes I would not take your own situation. Because you are new to the country, you may get attracted to new food. Who is not attracted to food, right? And especially new place, you should obviously try different cuisines and whatnot. But if I ask you, are you doing the same today? Probably 5 years, 6 years after landing into Canada, maybe that's not the case. If I have a TV already at home, I may not buy a TV again when I step outside the home. Most of the people, I'm not saying everyone is the same, but most of the people. But the impulsive buying, the daily needs, I myself have a very good experience talking to a friend, or maybe in my own experience too. All I wanted to buy is a couple of milk bags. Get into a store, you had no idea on what to buy except for the 2 milk bag, which is on the other side of the entrance of the shop. By the time I reached there, my shopping cart was half full, and I got the 2 milk bags. By the time I step outside the shopping mall or that specific store, my cart is almost full. Why? Because I couldn't control the way to purchase things. If you want to call it as a impulsive buying, that could be a habit for me. But if that is a habit, I am not the person to come and say I couldn't save money.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a kind of behavior that happened to that personality over a period of time. Now, if I really don't have money, I will not have my cart full. I would have stepped out with those 2 bags of milk, and I would have started within 5 minutes after entering the shop.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, right? No, I was not like that before. Before, when we go there, I just mentioned, right, like we see anything, we go buy it. But that's not from here. That's the habit from back home. But back home, we had a lot of money. The thing is, there is another misconception, right? People usually here think the people who don't have money will be moving abroad, or either coming to Canada or US or wherever it is. That's another common misconception that we have. I don't want to go into that, but people who have money can afford to fly here, go through all the process, apply for all the fees and whatever, right? Here it is only 400, but the same 400 is a lot in India or in any other third world country, right? So that's a different story. So people who have money will come here to the most part, and those people will have a different set of habits. And I'm not saying that what we did is something that we did. It's habitual mistake, I would say. But the thing is, I was the same. I was also spending money. After I moved from Ottawa, I came to Mississauga, whatever, right? And after that, I started to find there's no money in my hand, so I'm basically like paycheck to paycheck at the time, but still living like show off, right? It's just to show. And then before I met somebody, or before I get introduced to financial field or sector, I was spending money, but I only came to realize how much money I'm wasting and what is the reason for my suffering, financial suffering, right? At that time, when I only came to realize it after I came into the financial sector. I think you know Joe, right? So Joe is the one who did my financial PFS, need analysis. When Joe started asking me questions, okay, what is your income? What is this? What is this? What is this? Finally, after everything is done, I still see amount like $3,000, $4,000 in because my rent is only 500 at the time. my income is something, right? And then our groceries now, because of inflation and whatever other garbage, now the prices are all up. 15 years ago, it's not the case, right? So whatever the money we had, we could have saved it. But end of the day, we do not. Even when I entered into financial sector, I do not. I do not see any money. And when Joe asked me, okay, how much is this? What is your condition? I said, no, I do not have money. I cannot save money because it is too much expensive. Everything is expensive. I cannot save money. I'm unable to save money. That is the same cry that I did in front of Joe.
It's a very common statement, right? It's easy to escape
Exactly.
to get into next level of conversation on to talk about finance. The moment you say I do not have money, probably the next person who was about to talk to you may also be sailing the same boat, and they may switch topics, and they will forget about they do not have money when they actually have, right? And yeah, go ahead.
And then as soon as Joe started doing my PFS, by the way, Joe is a multimillionaire. He started from scratch. He went through the same situation. He was in our situation, so he know what he's talking about, right? So he was in the same situation like us, or me at least at the time. And then as soon as he started, he found $3,000, $4,000 sitting in my account. And as soon as he showed me that amount, I was like, okay, where is this 3,000? He asked me the same question. Okay, now open your bank account, show me where this 3,000 is. Right? And I was like, no, I do not have money. Then he asked me, okay, now I list your expenses, whatever, blah, blah, right? And every month, just for eating outside Tim Hortons, whatever, burgers and whatever we eat, so $2,000 just for garbage. I do not drive at the time. So to go to Niagara, to go to whatever falls or whatever, everywhere, bus tickets. Right? Just entrance ticket, movies, $110 monthly. That's all waste of money. We have one TV, Netflix, this Flix, that Flix, this plus, that plus, right? Unnecessary subscriptions. How much time do I work in the night shift, right? The whole day I will sleep. I wake up at 2:33, take shower, eat something, catch the bus, go back. Maybe we'll spend time in the house, maybe on Saturday and Sunday. So where is this 3,000 going? I was in the same team that people who are crying. It is just because of the habits, right? All people have to realize, if they are making whatever the money they are making, they need to plan, or they need to create a strategy on how to save their money. Basically, whatever, if you ask me, the way Joe set me up. By the way, the reason why I started following that is a multimillionaire guy spending his time to suggest me, or he spent like I would say like an year personally to mentor me, right, in the financial sector, like getting trained by a multimillionaire, and the guy is spending so much money just to train me, to help me save money and whatever. I should follow that, right? So after realizing everything, the amount of money that I saved, actually bought the house with the same money, right? The guidance that he gave, but that's a different story. But the strategy that I followed is 50, 30 and 20. I think we heard it always. But in that 32, there is, we know, okay, 50% this one, 30% this, 30%, 20% saving, right? But it is different. The 30 here is saving, right? 50, whatever the amount that we get, what do you call this, expenses. Only required necessary expenses. Only required. If this is not, if it is really needed, then we'll go for that.
So basically, that first 50% is all the necessary expenses. Like, say, it can
only
be
needs.
100%. Let's call it out, right? Like, it can be rent.
Yeah, rent.
Right. It is inevitable. Or if they are owning a house, it's going to be mortgage.
Yeah.
And all the utilities.
Yes.
So these expenses, it's not going to go away. It is going to be there when the new month hits. On the default dates, all these expenses will be there. So up to 50% or 50% has to be allocated for the much needed the expense that cannot be avoided, right? And then comes the 30 when you said 50, 30, 20, but the other way you said was 50 is for necessary expense,
Needs. Yeah.
yeah, and the 30% is for.
The 30% is, yeah, it's a saving, but in a different way. Not just for whatever, like normal TFSA or whatever it is, right? The money where we can, no, this is the money that I cannot pull out. There
Mhm.
is this lock term, right? 10 years fixed. I cannot pull. Every month I put money and I cannot pull it out. So that money in my portfolio grew a lot so far, right? 15 years, no, not 15, 5 years ago I started it, started building up now. It depends on market too. Whatever the return I have last year may not be this year, but still I'm dollar cost averaging, right? So it is going up. Portfolio is working fine. The remaining 20 usually is what we can spend on whatever we need. But even that 20, some money I will go into TFSA. What are the like other, like for example, buy some stocks or shares or whatever, like for the money that I can play, and nothing to for me to enjoy there, right? I don't want to say that people should not enjoy or whatever it is. In these 5 years of working with in the financial sector, that is what I learned. The more money I spend on enjoying, there's nothing that you enjoy, right? For example, some people like enjoying in casino, right? People go there, spend their money, they'll enjoy a lot, and by the time they come beggars, right? Some people enjoy watching. No, so some people say, "Oh, Niagara on the Lake." People will enjoy a lot going there, spend money for the gas, waste your time, go there. All they do is walk around the lake, look at the stuff, come back, and then gas again for coming. That's
That is still refreshing your mind and being with the nature, right? But as you rightly said, 50, 30, 20 is a good, strategy for saving money. I know. And let's say when you have mentioned you live paycheck to paycheck, right? Many families do.
yeah.
If my necessary expense is like 70 percentage of what my paycheck is, my 50, 30, 20 may not work. So this is where that strategy basically changes for different families. That individual should understand when they say I couldn't save money, that 50, 30, 20, if it is not working for them, then they really need to understand what is their necessary expense. It can be 70, 20, 10, to make a change. So that there should be a kind of, a
Yeah,
flexibility.
wow, yeah, you are saying in this time frame, yeah, I think it is the 50 became 70 in most cases. And then for that reason, you should not reduce your 50, 30, 20 to 70, 20 and 10 or 70, 10, 15 and 15. No, you should not. Make sure that we always maintain the 50, 30, 20. You can spend whatever on 20, right? In my case, I realized that I'm wasting money. So I realized that 20 should not be waste, right? I do spend money. Yeah, I do enjoy, but not for I don't want to waste my money on garbage, right? I do make sure that the 20 that I spend will give me something in return, right? That is how I enjoy. But anyways, if some people said, okay, I did meet I did meet some people saying, okay, my expenses increased. Then from morning 8 to 4 people usually work. Okay, you work from 8, and these people that are crying are mostly working from home. You're not tired. Maybe mentally you're tired. That's fine. Yeah, I do agree. Then why don't you make that 70 to 50 again? In order to do that, you have to spend another couple of hours, go do some part time, do a business, part time business. Why don't you make more money to make that 70 to 50? I have a different concept, but I will differentiate two people, right? Some people who will say, oh, I don't have time. Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I cannot do this. Because why do you don't have time on Saturday and Sunday? They are the same people who are crying that, hey, I cannot save money. Expenses are going up. Government is this, government is that. Trump is putting tariff. He is putting tariffs. He is doing this. But you are dumping your time. Why do you worry about tariffs? Yeah, they are going up. Then why don't you make a strategy? If you cannot leave, you can leave. They can leave, right? Where the prices are not high. But if you are here, if you already have responsibilities, then why don't you spend time, or why don't you create a strategy in such a way that you make more money? The same guy, so the people who are crying will spend their time going for to watch CN Tower. Just example, right? I met with a guy who I asked, "Hey, you know what, I think I'm planning to do this on a weekend on this Saturday. Are you available?" And he's like, "Oh no, actually, I have to go to friend's place in Brampton or whatever." What do you do there? I'm not saying that you're not going, but why don't you spend the same time to make money for yourself and your family rather than crying like a little boy, right? Make 50, make convert that 70 to 50. I know many, and the second kind, right? I know many kids, actually, basically students, they don't make money, they are only allowed to work 20 hours or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's not just students, even software people, like they are facing whatever, right? Mortgage and interest rates and whatever, right? They are doing part time like Skip. Some people are doing DoorDash or Uber or whatever. They're making whatever money they are making. Some people, they're doing business in like finance sector too. So why don't these people, rather than crying, spend more time or on a weekend to make some money and cover their expense?
So you said about two types of people. One, people say they don't have time. I'm more eager to know about the other sector. Like what kind of the other people you were about to say about?
Other people are almost like my kind. For me, I will. So, for example, we both are talking here, right? I will propose a certain thing. Hey, you know what? I'm planning to do this, right? Can we do this? It will give us whatever, right? Return or whatever. We may benefit from this or whatever, right? If somebody say I don't have time, then I will never. And I would suggest anybody, right? Like if you are talking to somebody and they say I don't have time, I'm busy, I would say you don't need them. Anything, they won't have time for anything. They have time for eating, they have time for watching TV, they have time for going to tours and travels and whatever. They will go see fall colors, they have time to see fall colors, they have time to see spring, whatever, spring colors, right? They have time to go to Niagara, they have time to go to sea and they have time to go to everywhere. Even they have time to go to friend's place to sit and drink for the whole night, right? But they do not have time to spend for their own family or for his own self. If it's a bachelor, right? They don't have time. Then those people are lying or either lazy or lying, right? So better cut them out. You are not you, anybody. Somebody is talking to them, somebody is trying to do something with them, or self. If they're doing the same thing for their self, thinking that maybe I don't have time, then they have to come out of that mentality, right? For my case, I wake up at 3:30, 4:30, take shower, go to office. 4 o'clock I'm done. By the time I come home, 5, again take shower, spend at least one and a half hour with the family, start working again. I will have to update my website. I will have to respond to the comments on the website. I have to write my articles. I have to write my blogs. Right. I have to go through the market performance for my clients. Right. And I will call my clients. Like most of the clients, hey, your portfolio is doing this. What do you want to do? Right. Some clients, when the market go down, if some market is going high, then I will say, this is how it is going. Is it okay for you to do whatever changes, right? Even if it is going up, right? That is what I do until 11:30, 9:30. I responded to your message at 11 o'clock yesterday. Not 11:30, sorry. 10:30
yeah.
night. And then after that, I slept. Because I know that I'm going to we have the meeting today in the office, right? So I had to wake up early. Basically, this is where the proverb comes in. Necessity is the mother of invention. If somebody's ass is getting whooped, then they will automatically start working. But the thing is, even some people they will never learn. They are ready to take suffering, but they don't want to do anything or contribute anything, even for themselves, right? So the second type of people I'm looking for is the people who will say, or the kind of people who will never say that I don't have time. They're not basically lazy.
Yeah. So couple of strategies that I may still think for people who, I don't know, if they are trying to cheat themselves, saying that I do not have money, or if they really do not have money. Some of the strategies that I started to follow from my grandparents or also from my parents is basically the way how you do your expenses. Meaning, if you go for a shopping, right, nowadays people have the habit of tap and go.
No, I'll say one thing, right? If you want to give an idea to somebody to follow a strategy, I will give the best idea or a kind of best idea. The idea is, if somebody is really in such situation, they need some kind of strategy, they need some kind of savings that they are looking for, or they need to get something planned, let them contact you
Mm-hmm.
or me or somebody, if they know any financial advisor that they have. Rather than spending time talking to the people who are already losing money, the best strategy I would say is write in the comment or contact us. They can find the email on the website, right? The link they can find in the channel description and whatever, right? Send their comments, write their issue, what kind of financial crunch they are feeling. They can set up an appointment with us, with me or you or whoever, right? Like, if they have personal advisor, then we can go from there.
That's a good suggestion for most of the viewers to come and comment on this podcast, and learn more about additional strategies, because the same strategy may not work for everyone, but in general, no, I want to share good stuff for people who are listening to this podcast, especially because it's not my own strategy. It is coming from I learned from my family, right? If you go for shopping, right, now the trend here is, like, you cannot carry lot of cash, so people have a habit of use their credit card, like tap and go. When it is virtual money, you never know what is the limit you have in your pocket. That's one of the main reason for having impulsive buying. If I had only $20 in my pocket, or $15, $20, let's say, I go into a shopping mall, or a shop, get 2 bags of milk. Even if I see something to buy, I do not have cash with me, so I will only buy of what I have. Or if I want to buy something else, I do not have cash, if it is really needed, I need to go back, get the cash, and then buy it again. By the time, if I go back and get the money, it may still make me to think, is that really a need or a want? So the point is, try to get or buy your groceries using your cash, not through a credit or debit card, where you'll know how much you're spending on when you go for shopping. The other way is, when no, right, like you rightly said, the strategy to slice their paycheck 50, 30, and 20. 50 is for the need, and rather waiting for before going for the shopping, or with the impulsive buying, make sure that 30 is also coming into your necessity. So if I still see, let's say I get my paycheck, I spent all the needed expenses, so 50% is already out from my paycheck. The rest of the 50%, it is still sitting in my bank. So if I go for shopping, or no, if I go step outside from my home, start my car, I can go to any place, I'm going to spend that money. When I will have confidence to spend that money, only if I have money in my bank account. But if I already start allocating that saving money as part of my necessary expenses for a monthly expense, now my 20% is only remaining to me. Now I will only do the expenses or where it is really needed, or what is priority for me or to the family. And then now you are not in a place to come and say, I do not have money to save, because you already saved the money. Only what you have left for spending, the families will go ahead and spend for themselves, for their family, which will still allow the families to go for any kind of entertainment. I know I'm not against entertainment. No, if you have kids, you have family, and even if you are like independent person, you have to go meet people, like refresh yourself, be with the nature, or wherever you go, you know uh, it's up to that individual to continue or pursue that habit of going out and doing their hobby. If I am a person to watch movie, at least one movie a week, I'll still go ahead and do it, but at the expense of, I do not have that 30% of saving is already done, all my expenses are taken care. If I still have money, why not I go
Yes,
for a
if
movie?
you, yeah, if you have 30% already covered, then Remaining 20% you can use. Yeah, that's what I was saying. The 30% is fixed for me. The other 20% I'm saying is for the expense, but I will use it to make money again, right? But it does. I'm not saying that I'm against entertainment or whatever. You can go enjoy anything. All I'm saying is now people are crying about not having the 30%. Now what should they do? That is the main concern, that or that is the topic that we are talking about. If they have 30% already to save, then we won't be doing this discussion now, right? If they don't have the discount, they don't have the 30%. That's what we heard in the event, or in the place where we met, in a gathering or whatever we call, and that's why we are discussing. If they don't have money, if you don't have money to save, then all I'm saying is make more money and come up with a strategy and start enjoying your life if you can.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. There is no reason to come and blame or complain that I do not have money, and especially in a gathering. Right? It may sound funny, right? But still, if I really struggling to or to manage my living here, then I will not show up in a gathering.
Exactly.
Maybe I will still cut down my expense rather being in the gathering. No, I might have used that money somewhere in spending wisely, or it can be still another contribution to my saving.
Exactly.
Right. And when you have mentioned like there are different kind of saving like TFSA or RRSP, the fact is like people are very smart nowadays, because they have the data right in their hand. Everyone carry a mobile, and all the facts are available. Like if they want to go and check.
That is another mistake, right? Yeah, I'm kind of contradicting to that point. They have data and everything. A recent survey, I was maybe in a meeting, in the office meeting, maybe somebody bought the point that 90% or 95% of, that is not North Americans, I would say, they trust their friend or a family member or a friend for their savings or whatever, right? And we never know what is the condition of that friend or a family member or what, right? They would say, okay, I invested this here, right? And then when it tanks, the guy who suggested might not talk anything about that.
Yeah, he
But
may
he's
be
the
no. I think he may be experienced the same.
right, yeah.
Same.
So there are certain, even for the savings, there are certain strategies that we have to implement or we have to look out for, right? I can proudly say, or I can give a guarantee that my clients market tank like crazy, right? But I will keep a watch on my all my clients' portfolios, right? I do remember giving you a number, you and some of my other friends too. I told them, hey, S&P 500, watch out for this number, 4890, right? Wait for that number. The maximum it can drop is 4879, but make sure once it reaches 4894,
put more money
put
there.
more money, dump whatever you have, not whatever you have, strategic plan, right? I gave them whatever instruction. And some people who have money, they put the money, and now what is market sitting at, right? Market jumped back. I'm not saying that market won't come back. Right? Market may come back, but whatever the profit that they made, the people who invested money, they are now in a good position, right? So it takes time. It takes somebody to analyze markets, do some research or whatever. It's not just like, okay, some institution is giving us no zero commission and whatever. And I know like a lot of friends, no, not say friends, maybe a lot of people who invested into that thinking, hey, this zero commission, whatever, I'll make money, I'll put money based on, and what they do, many people put money in the penny stocks, which won't go anywhere. And some people will put, hey, this ETF, that ETF. I'm not saying do not put money into any ETF or stock or whatever, right? But there are way better options than putting some money in a penny stock or whatever, right? We have to do some fundamental analysis for that. We have to go through fundamentals for the company, where we are putting that, where we are putting our money. Money is not something that's coming out of tree. So people should think, even for not spending, for saving, where to save. If they don't know where to save and what to save, how to save, then they have to come talk to advisor.
True, very true. And coming to the fact, right, on online, if they can go and check people who are really smart of saving money, I think up to 50-60% of people are currently having a TFSA account, for the emergency fund probably. But coming to the retirement, I would say, not not even a 50% of the Canada families are planning for the retirement yet. Alright, if people think it is really, if they are really struggling to save money right at this point in time, when they have a paycheck coming to their bank every week or bi-weekly or monthly, whatever the frequency is, they need to think about what happens after the retirement. What happens after the retirement? That's when the real pain is going to be experienced. If the actual need is understood by that individual or for the family on the need to save money for themselves for the near future, for or for after the retirement, that is going to help them in the long term not to have any financial insecurities. When they're healthy, when they have paycheck, this is nothing for them. Either crying or blaming themselves for their financial crisis is never a solution that is going to get for an individual. Now, if there are any financial strategies or financial related information that people are looking for, either it can be on debt management, what are the chances for increasing the cash flow, moving their financial insecurities to a financial security, and eventually attain financial freedom. Please start comment reaching to us. We greatly appreciate your time listening to this podcast. We expect your response through comments. If there are any different strategies that you are currently following and or you are pursuing, if it is working great to you, we are happy to learn from you as well. Thank you so much again. We'll meet in another beautiful episode of ASA Podcast.
Thank you very much, everyone.